The first candidate we'd like to introduce to you this afternoon is Pritam Singh, sitting on my left. Pritam is 34 years old. In fact, he's just last week finished his final exams at SMU Law School for the Juris Doctor program. He also holds a Master of Arts in War Studies from King's College London and a Diploma in Islamic Studies from the International Islamic University of Malaysia. Professionally, he founded Opinion Asia 5 years ago. It's an online commentary syndicate focused on Asian issues. He joined the Workers' Party in 2010, was quickly elected into the Youth Wing Exco. And he likes to describe himself as a late bloomer because he says he did not take his studies seriously until after his national service. Prior to that, he was actually much more interested in football and rugby. So I'll hand you over to Pritam.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Can everyone hear me fine? Thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pritam Singh. I'm 34 years old. I've been running a commentary syndicate called Opinion Asia for the last 5 years. And as Chairman mentioned, I am just about finished with my Juris Doctor program at SMU. I hope to be called to the bar very soon, and I certainly look forward to practice as a lawyer. Now, about 10 years ago, I climbed up this long flight of staircases at the old Workers' Party headquarters in Jalan Besar. I'm not sure how many of you remember it.
Yes.
And that's when I met Mr. Lau for the first time. And at that point, I decided that I was probably a little too young for party politics and decided that I should get some experience in the working world first. I finally joined the Workers' Party in May of last year, and almost immediately involved in house visits, selling the party newsletter, The Hammer. And shortly thereafter, in August last year, I was elected to the Workers' Party Youth Wing. Now, why have I thrown my hat into the political ring? You see, I believe that Singaporeans should spend some part of their life in public service, whether you're male or female. And if we accept that the average lifespan of a Singaporean is about 80 years old, is about 80 years, I beg your pardon, then I think 10, 15, 20 years in public service is reflective of a life lived to the fullest, where you can change the status quo for the better and look forward to a more progressive society. Then this, of course, begs the question, why public service in the opposition cause? Now, in the 1990s, I remember then Prime Minister, now Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong, imploring young people to join the PAP, to change the system from the inside. Now, 2 or 3 elections have gone by, and I'm not sure about the rest of you, but I don't see the system changing from the inside. If anything, I think the system has become even more entrenched. And from 2006 in particular, if we look at what has happened in Singapore to the lower income, to the middle income, and just the changes that we have seen in Singapore society, I think some of these changes have been incredibly profound and have serious long-term implications for Singapore. Let me read out to you one blogger's comments, which I read on the 13th of April, just a few weeks ago. This lady, in 2004, left to go to Australia to complete her degree in communication design. And she came back in 2006. And then in 2011, a few weeks ago, she writes about the changes that she had seen over the last 5 years. And it's a good sort of period to reflect on, because that's when the people gave the PAP a mandate. And this is what she said. Just bear with me. It's not too long. In the last 5 years, I've watched and felt my country change from a familiar friend to a stranger that I barely recognize. It's the fastest, slowest change you can imagine feeling. Almost overnight, ERP systems sprung into place to prevent road congestion, while I was stuck in jams in raised-priced taxis. Suddenly, the faces of Singapore no longer spoke the same Singlish language. I had problems ordering food and drinks in local dining places. And all too soon, I had to let 4 trains at 2-minute intervals pass me before I was finally able to physically shove myself into one to get home for dinner at 8 p.m. Of course, this hasn't happened overnight. This has been a growing problem over the last 5 years. And I hate to break it to you, but 5 years is a very brief time for such major developments in a small nation like Singapore. I hate what has happened to my country. It doesn't feel like my country anymore. It feels like a temporary island of wild government experiments to see perhaps how many people can fit into one tiny dot before it sinks, or how much money you can make per square foot. Strange policies of home ownership and citizenship have been adopted, rewritten, reinforced, all over this span of 5 years. And inevitably, and obviously, it all comes down to our single-party ruling system in Singapore. The regime of the PAP has controlled Parliament since 1959. This means no one else has had a crack at it. I don't know about you, but this doesn't feel like democracy to me. Hence, I believe that it is vital we have an insurance in the form of a credible opposition presence in Parliament. One that makes sure that the PAP are acting in the national interest, and one that scrutinizes PAP intentions before policies are unleashed on the public. And in my opinion, never has the need for us to move to a first world parliament ever been so urgent. Thank you very much.
The final candidate we wish to introduce to you this afternoon is Glenda Han. Glenda is 35 years old. She graduated from NUS with a degree in economics and Japanese studies. She is entrepreneurial by nature, likes to dabble in various businesses, including running a bar, near which I met her, I remember 7 years ago. She's also right now a money broker and having her own business in body care products. Now, she is a familiar face to most of you because she stood as a candidate in the 2006 election as part of the suicide squad in Ang Mo Kio GRC against Prime Minister, her team earning 1/3 of the valid votes there. And since that election, she was elected into our Workers' Party Council. And though she's been away, she has come back regularly and has been active on the ground in the eastern area. So, Glenda?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Can everyone hear me? Sorry. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Glenda Han. I have been with Workers' Party since 2004, and this is the second time I'm standing for elections. The first, as what Ms. Lim has described, the first being the 2006 general elections, where I was part of the suicide squad in Ang Mo Kio GRC. So from that experience, I have seen how important a role WP plays in being a strong political alternative in Singapore, where Singaporeans can turn to if they feel that's where they will be better represented. Being up on the stage during those rallies then, where you can't even see where the crowd ends, showed me the magnitude of support Workers' Party was given. Rain or shine, the number of people who turned up at our rallies were astounding. So it was a very overwhelming and humbling experience for me. To me, it also signifies the responsibility I have now that I've chosen this route towards the people. Since then, our quality of life, unfortunately, not only did not get better, but have gotten worse. The reason why I'm here today is the same, but further reinforced, as it was when I first stood as a candidate. There has to be a shift of power in the Parliament to a more balanced one. Not only will more opposition in the Parliament be a better representation of the electorate, it will also be the start of a change in the draconian way Singapore has been ruled over the years, which to me is extremely important if the government wishes to see our young and future generations be more creative and unafraid of taking risks. So I've gone through the baptism of fire, and through my journey with WP, I have seen and understood what is demanded of one if elected into the Parliament. I hope the voters will see that I am more than ready to step into that role. 各位大家好，我是韩淑梅。我在2000年就加入了工人党，这是我第二次参加竞选。第一次是2006年，那一次大选，我是工人党在红帽桥集选区 竞选的敢死队里的一份子。经过上一次的经验，我深刻地体会到工人党在新加坡政策领域里扮演的角色是多么的重要。工人党让选民们在国会里有人代表他们，为他们发言。每次竞选活动时，我站在台上，看见台下人山人海的支持者，总是让我非常感动。同时，我也了解到，我竟然选择了这一条路，我就有义务为人民负责，为他们服务。自从上一次大选之后，我们的生活水平没有得到提高，反而每况愈下。基于和2006年同样，但更坚定的信念和理由，我决定再参加竞选。我深信，我们的国会需要进行权力移转，以达到一个更平衡的国会。我们的政府一直都在对我们年轻这一代提倡创作力、冒险的精神，突破传统的思维。那这种执政党一面倒国会的时代的改变是必须的。对我来说，2006年的大选就如经历过了烈火般的洗礼。这7年和工人党一起奋斗的这段日子，我已经充分地了解到，身为在国会里的民意代表，选民将对我有什么期望。我希望各位选民们都能看得到，我是完全能胜任的。谢谢。